Hi, I'm Jay Arthur, author of Lean Six Sigma for Hospitals and QI Macros. If you've ever done any lean projects, you know pretty much if the process is this long, with value stream mapping, spaghetti diagramming, you can collapse that maybe 75, 80, 90%. You can actually reduce the cycle time for almost anything, right? And do it easily. And one of the things that I think is creating optimism for me is that a few years ago I worked with an aerospace manufacturing company, and typically to get a request for proposal through, it was 1.9 years for any new part. That's 21 months. Well, when we looked at it, it turned out about 80% of the parts being requested were similar to things they'd already done. And so they knew a lot about it, and so we were able to collapse the cycle time for that particular RFP, RFQ to 40 days. That's a big reduction, right? From 21 months to just over a month and a half, right? So dramatic improvements are possible. Now, that's one of the nice things. You know, for the 20% that were really unknown, it took longer. I think they got it down to 9 months, right? Because then you had to figure out what it really meant to produce that. And I see the same thing right now with the COVID-19 issue. All right, so COVID-19 is actually a variant of the SARS virus that came out about 10 years ago. So number one, we know how to build vaccines for SARS-1. There are a number of drug treatments that came out for SARS-1, and those have already been approved, right? So COVID-19 is a variant of the original SARS, so we know a lot about it, right? So it's not like we have to relearn everything and invent new stuff all the time. There are probably things out there that will treat the disease, at least some way, shape, or form, or give us insight into how we can treat this disease. And so I think we're going to see, instead of it taking, you know, months and years to come up with a drug treatment program for COVID-19, I think we already have stuff, and I think we're going to see that come into being very quickly. And I think we're already seeing some of that. We just don't know precisely which ones will roll out and which ones will not quite work, right? Because it is a variant. Now, the other thing that I know is that, you know, normally it takes 18 months to build a vaccine, but that's because you don't know anything about it, right? Even the flu vaccine, I mean, they guess what it's going to be, and then it's not really very effective when it comes out. It might be, the year I got the flu, it was about 14% effective. So it didn't really protect a lot of people, right? We picked the wrong flu as being the one that was going to show up. But now we know COVID-19, we know what that is, right? And we know how to build a vaccine for its earlier variant, SARS-1. Right? So guess what? I'm betting that we can collapse the cycle time to create a vaccine dramatically. And for those of you who've been around lean, you know that most of the time, the thing that slows everything down is approvals, right? And so our approval cycle time is going to have to, we're going to have to squish all the air out of that and get it down to let's get approvals going. And so that's why I think, you know, and that by end of September, early October, we could start to see a vaccine starting to roll out. Now it's going to take a while to ramp up production to get it out to everybody. So that'll take some time, and probably medical people will get it first, old people like me will get it second, and everybody else will get it third, but you get the idea. That's why I'm wildly optimistic that the cycle time for this process can be dramatically reduced. You know, the news media is quoting what it takes normally to do this. Well, guess what? These ain't normal times, and we already know what this thing acts like because we have SARS-1 as version 1.0 of all these drugs and vaccines. So that's my improvement insight for this week. If you've already got something and you know how to do it, then maybe you can collapse the cycle time for a request for proposal, request for quote, vaccine, medicine, whatever it is, because you know what it is and how it works. So we can do that collapsing. And that's the great thing about lean. Any process can be collapsed. So that's my improvement insight for this week. Let's go out and improve something.